Have you ever thought about just taking just a little nap in the middle of a video? Anyways, hello everybody, this is that Manga Dude, and welcome to a good old-fashioned FVI. This is for March 2024. We have some fantastic first volumes that I'm going to be talking about today, and probably is the most stacked I've had in a while. All of these manga could be the top of the year for some people, and so it's going to be really hard rating them and ranking them at the end. There's a lot of really good stuff, so I'm really excited to get into them. I hope you're excited too. So let's get started right now. Woo! Okay, so if you don't know what the first volume impressions is, also known as the FVI is basically the show/series that I do where I talk about the first volume of a series or a one-shot. I give my pretty longer review in comparison to my reading logs, and then I rank all the ones that I do for the month from my favorite to least favorite. So yeah, let's get started. So our first one, originally published in October of 2021 on the Shonen Jump Plus app, we have ourselves this good old-fashioned manga series right here, Magilumiere, Magical Girls Incorporated, with a story by Seka Iwata and art by Yu Aoki. Alright, let's talk about our people who worked on this. So we have translation from Camellia Nie, touch-up art and lettering from Annalise Ace Chrisman, design from Paul Padu Rariru? I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, I think. And the editor is Pancha Diaz. So, yeah, let's talk about this cover and spine. I love this cover. I think it's really beautiful. It has like just some really nice colors across the board. You get to see the characters in full force, all the characters you're going to be meeting throughout the story. Overall, I also really like the logo a lot. I like the color choices. I like the font use. It's actually really cool. Spine's pretty decent. I mean, it's nothing super mind-blowing or anything, but at least they use the same font/title on the side. And then the back, it's a back. So overall, pretty decent overall spine and cover. I do like them. So let's go into our characters. I'm going to be talking only about two of them because they're the two main characters. So first off, we have ourselves Kana Sakuragi. So that's going to be the lady over here. She is a strong researcher. She's attentive and observant. Really cares a lot about the jobs she's always trying to get, which that's kind of like the plot of this, is that she is really struggling to find a job, which I'll talk more about in the story. But overall, she's a great main character. I think she's really easy to sympathize and empathize with. I like her a lot. I just really interested to see where her character is going to go, especially after the first volume, because I think they give her a lot to like, about her. So that's really cool. So she's probably going to do a really good job as a main character. Going into our other character here, we have ourselves Hitomi Koshigaya. She's the other female lead. I won't say it's like the complete opposite, but she's definitely more loud, action before thinking kind of person. I wrote down specifically she's a magical girl who introduces Sakuragi to becoming a magic girl. Spunky, strong, really caring and resourceful. She's actually really cool. I actually like her a lot. Very entertaining to watch and I guess read through. I don't know why I said watch. To read through throughout the story. So, but overall, love the main characters. I think they're a lot of fun. The side characters are also pretty good as well. So overall, I think the characters are done in a very good way. The characters are really good. That's basically what I could say about that. Then going into the story, so Kana Sakuragi, who I said is the main character, or one of the main characters, she lives in a world that are filled with magical girls, and these magical girls are basically doing a variety of jobs, clearing out monsters and doing all this kind of stuff to help the community and everything. The only issue is that Kana can't find a job. She's struggling to find it. We start off like in the story, she's like in the middle of an interview and she already gets rejected because I guess they find her to be a little bit overeager and stuff like that. So she's really struggling until she has a chance encounter during another interview where she meets Koshigaya, and after some deliberation and some other things that happen, they come to find out that Kana would be great to be a magical girl. So she gets hired, and now she has to figure out how to be a magical girl. So overall, the plot's pretty wacky for the most part. I really like the implementation of technology within this magical girl world, because usually magical girls stories will feature like, you know, a lot of as the name suggests, magic. So like a lot of things that can't really be explained, but Magilumiere kind of fuses that with technology. So like all the things can be explained. Like the magic is like combined with this like technology that like shoots out beams and stuff like that. And all the technology is built for this world. So it's really cool. I like that. I like that kind of mix of semi-realism. I don't know how you want to call it. Or I guess logic to Magic Girl. So that's kind of cool. Overall, I like the story a lot. I like the writing quite a bit. I think the comedy is solid across the board. Yeah, we've got some pretty interesting like confrontations and things already happening within the first volume. So definitely got me hyped for the second volume. Now going into the art is fantastic. I mean, if you couldn't tell from this cover, the art is absolutely gorgeous. It's really well done. Some pretty strong paneling, some great character designs and character expressions. Some really good monster designs too. I think there's only like 1 or 2 monsters that even show up in the first volume. But overall, I really, really enjoy it. I really like everything. I don't know. There's like so much to like about the art specifically. Characters, like I said, character designs are really, really well designed. I really like the Magical Girl like outfits a lot too. I think they're pretty cool. It's like a mix between like an office worker and a Magical Girl, so that's kind of funny. Yeah, I think that's about as much as I can say about it in terms of the art. It does really well across the board. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun Magical Girl series that's a little bit different than your typical Magical Girl series because it implements technology and other, I would say, shonen tropes, I would say definitely give this a shot. This is a really cool one. It's a lot of fun, and I'm definitely super excited for the second volume. Alright, so the second volume I'm going to be talking about today is coming from the magazine Monthly Afternoon, originally published and originally started in May of 2020. It was my most hyped manga for this year, and that is Medalist from Suru Maikata. Let's talk about the people who worked on this. We have translation/translator is Kevin Gifford. We have letterer is Darren Smith. Original digital edition editing by Talia Sutton. Editor is Amy Zink. Managing editor is Alana L. Ruse. And production manager is Claire Kirker. So yeah, let's talk about this cover and spine. I love the cover. I think it's really cool. I really like the color choices that they chose for the title. I don't know, I'm a big fan of like teal, kind of like seafoam, and as well as the blue as well. I really like the characters on the front. I like the coloring they did for them. It looks really great. Spine, it's basically just the cover, but on the side. So nothing super crazy, but it is still pretty good. And yeah, decent back. Has like parts of the series that are posted on the back, and some information as well. So overall, once again, pretty decent spine and cover, but nothing I would say that's gonna blow you away. Now, let's get into our characters. We have 2 of them, and they are wonderful. So we have Inori Yuitsuka, I think is how you pronounce her name. That's going to be the girl here. She's an 11-year-old who has very little faith in herself because basically everyone is just dogs on her. It's kind of messed up, and it'll get you really angry. Because she's just trying her best, and like just like there's like no sympathy from anybody. Everyone's just kind of mean, but it's kind of what I expect, I guess, from like around her age. But she's always wanted to be an ice skater, but everyone's kind of looked down on her for wanting to do that. Everyone says she's weird, she's awkward, but really she's just super passionate about ice skating, and no one wants to seem to help her push for that dream that she's always wanted to do. So I don't know, she's a really easy character to root for. I really like her a lot. I like her motivation to become an ice skater, and I don't know, I just like how excited she gets throughout the series, or specifically within the first volume. So I'm super excited to watch her development as an ice skater and also as a character and a person throughout this story, because I have a feeling she's going to be very dynamic. Going into the other character, we have ourselves Tsukasa Akeuraji, I think is how you pronounce it. He's the male lead. He was originally trying to become a professional ice skater as well, but after let's just say a mix of things happening, a mix of factors, he has become like he's going to become a coach. He's also very, very passionate about ice skating. I would say he's a little bit more grounded, and I definitely think he's a little idealistic, but I think that's what makes him fun to pay attention to and really fun to read in general. I like their dynamic a lot. I think they're a really fun coach-student tandem, and I'm really, really excited to see where both of them go, especially with him becoming a coach, training to become a coach, and her training to become a pro ice skater. So story, kind of already talked about it quite a bit, talked about it at least a little bit. Tsukasa, like I said, he's looking for a job after a variety of opportunities have kind of fallen through, and one of his former duo partner is asking him to become a coach at her ice rink, and so he does. And as he approaches, he sees this girl, Inori, who's looking a little suspicious. She looked like she has snuck in and is not paying to ice skate. So he starts to chase after her, and she is extremely fast and agile. He can't really catch her. Tries to learn her story. Eventually he does, and learns that, yeah, she wants to become an ice skater, but she can't afford it because nobody is willing to support her in this endeavor. So he vows to become her coach and push her to finish or to get her dream of becoming a gold medalist at the Olympics. So at the prime age of 11 years old, which, if you don't know, in ice skating, I guess, and for most sports too, if you don't start early, you don't tend to become like the best of the best, or it becomes a lot harder for you to become the best of the best. So it's interesting to watch their stories kind of intertwine with one another, especially because he was the same thing, where he got into ice skating very much later in life, and so a lot of people also look down on him, being like, oh, you're never going to become a pro, you're never going to do this. So he's kind of helping her in order to achieve that dream. And I really like the themes that are brought up, that like you should follow your dreams no matter how many people tell you not to do it or tell you can't do it. I don't know. I just like it a lot. Story is done really well. The writing is top notch. It is a good mix of comedy, a good mix of drama, and a good mix of like that kind of like coming of age, slice of life kind of stuff. So overall, love the story. I think it was great. Now, talking about the art, I love it. It's very quirky, and I think you can tell that they're starting to they're getting their bearings straight at first, because a lot of the art can be kind of very sketchy, I think is the best way to put it. Like, there's a lot of like very sketchy lines, sketchy line art across the board. But I don't hate it. I actually really do like sketchy line art. I do think some of like the character stuff gets a little too reliant on like special expressions and stuff like that, or like kind of like that chibi stuff, which I don't necessarily hate. But I will say there is a lot of it. But man, when Suda and Maikata is hitting their stride, it is remarkable. There's some absolutely amazing panels, some really great art across the board. There's a lot to love in this specific first volume. So art is great, story is pretty fantastic, characters are awesome. Yeah, this is a must read for me. I think you really should just check this out. Even if you're not a big fan of ice skating, even if you're not a big fan of sports series, just give it a shot. Take a look at it. If you can get it if you can read it online through the Kodansha app, I'm pretty sure it's on there, the K-Manga app. Definitely give it a shot. It's a really, really good manga. The first volume is fantastic. And going into the final volume, this was another one that made it onto my list for my top 10 manga I'm hyped for in 2024. It's kind of crazy how many came out in March. Pretty funny, but what can I say? Originally releasing in the good old-fashioned monthly Young magazine back in June of 2019, we have ourselves Auto, Volume 1 from Jaku Amano, or Amano Jaku, sorry. And yeah, this is from Kodansha. Let us get started with who worked on this. So we have translation from Irene Nakano, we have lettering from Phil Christie, editing from Andres Oliver, managing editor is Deja Payne, I think. I think it's Dacia. Could be that too. Production manager is Angela Zurlo. All right, let us talk about the good old-fashioned cover and spine. Yeah, this cover is pretty cool. I like the mix of like colors that they have, and like how it kind of like switches colors when you reach the lettering. I think the lettering is really cool across the board. I like the title a lot. It looks super awesome. I know I mentioned how much I don't really care for white background with character, but this one is done exceptionally well, just because of how they mix the title in with the character himself. I just really like it. I think the spine is pretty cool too. Like, it's very, very simple, but I think it works for this particular series. And then the back has a really cool character on the back with a really well-drawn motorcycle and some decent stuff. And it's really funny because they mentioned that, like, oh, for fans of Akira, yeah, I can see the Akira influence almost immediately, even from just the spine and cover. But yeah, more on that a little bit later in terms of the actual story of things. So let's get into our two characters. We have two, like I mentioned. So first we're going to talk about the girl here. Her name is Riko. She's the female lead. Very sassy, smart, empathetic. She's awesome. She's this is a really cool character. She has like a certain like energy about her that's just really fun to watch. And overall, I don't know, she feels very realistic for this kind of story, and I kind of love her. She's great. and I really, really enjoy her within the first volume. Interested to see what's going to happen with her as we move out throughout the series. Coming on the back, we have ourselves Ato, or Ito. I think it's Ato. He's the male lead. He's a quiet boy who has some kind of funky little powers over here. He attempts to be very self-sufficient. He doesn't want to drag Rico into anything that's happening. So he's very caring about the people around him and really caring for the people who care about him. So I like him a lot. Hopefully he, is able to become better or escape the bad things that are happening to him, but probably not. But overall, I do like his character. I think he's really cool. And I like the dynamic between Ato and Rico, even though it's very much of Rico just being like, who are you? And Ato not really saying much for the most part. So definitely interested to see where this is going to go with the characters. Now, in terms of the story, Rico is on her way to her job, which she basically dislikes, and notices that this kid, Ato, is in the middle of the street. Looks like he's about to get hit by something, so then she goes and blocks him off and gives him a telling off and being like, why are you standing in the street? You're going to get hit like that. So then she leaves, and later in the day, she finds him again, decides to, hey, let's go eat, let's go enjoy ourselves, because she could tell that something's up. Then, as they're eating, let's just say some crazy stuff happens and he gets blasted by what appears to be the military. So they make their daring escape, and she's like, why are you being chased by the military? And that's where you're going to have to find out when you read the story. So overall, it's a very intense story, and yeah, the Akira parallels are crazy. I just read Akira, so reading this is like basically reading what I would say is like a homage to Akira. Very similar story beats, especially within the first volume, but I don't mind it. I think it's done a little bit differently, so it's not a complete copy. But if you do like Akira, it's a really, really solid sci-fi story. I'm really interested to see where the mystery goes, like what these people are, because yeah, it's really cool. Now, talking about the art is probably my favorite part of it. There's some really, really intense moment. I love the sound effects and how they're drawn. There's like one specific moment, which I already kind of mentioned, but like some really, really exciting, just like yelling and screaming and just effects across the board. I don't know. I love like the ink, kind of like the ink pen or like ink brush that they use. It's really flipping cool. This one's pretty awesome as well. Just some really intense movement and storytelling going across the board with the art. So overall, I do really like this one. This one was a lot of fun. If you like sci-fi stories, if you like Akira, you should definitely give this a shot. It's totally worth it. It's a really good first volume. I think I had a really great time, and I'm very, very, very excited to see what the next volume's all about. Alright, so going into the hardest ranking to date, we have these three fantastic series, and I have to decide which one I like the most and which one I like the least. So, in terms of liking the least, even though I loved it, and I said I loved it, please note that I might like the ranking of these is like a 9.5, a 9.25, and a 9. I'm gonna have to say Auto is actually my least favorite, and that's just because I literally just read Akira, and they are very similar. And that's not to dog on Auto at all, but Auto feels a lot like Akira, so it feels like I just read this story. So still very, very good. But happens to be my least favorite. And then I'm going to keep Magilumiere, Magical Girls Incorporated at number 2 because I just like Medalist more. I just really like Medalist. It's right up my alley. I love sports manga. I love sports things. Ice skating is really cool, and I think it has a perfect combination of really great art and a fantastic story put together. Not to say that these don't, but this one is just a little bit better for me. And overall, yeah, that's going to be my ranking for this FVI. And thank you for watching this FVI. Let me ask you this. Have you read any of these series? What do you think of them? Let me know in the comments below. Or are you interested in any of these series now? Also let me know in the comments below. So yeah, you can like, you can comment, and you can subscribe. Those are all amazing, fantastic things. And if you decide to not do that, well, I'm glad you watched, I guess. And I have to mention, I got my first ever membership, so I have to mention their name down here. So thank you to Regs C. Lee, or Regs C. Lee. I think that's how you pronounce it. So thank you so much for joining the membership. If you don't know, you can join the membership and you can get some of these videos earlier than Sunday. So if you feel like hearing my voice just a little bit earlier, you could definitely do that. And I really appreciate it. So thank you for your support, Regs C. Lee. You are awesome. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for checking out the FVI, and I will see you in the next one.